What's up everybody, AJ from Knights of the Apex here. Quarantine here in Florida is coming to a close, and with that I want to do a quick video talking about one of the things that I've been messing around with probably the most during this quarantine, and that's been my stabilizer setup. Now if you've been following Knights of the Apex on Instagram, you probably saw the reviews that I did of the Quattro Archery Vulcan and Dentro. In those videos I talked about my front and back setups that I was running, and how my front and back Vulcan 10 and 8-inch setups was my favorite stabilizer setup that I've ever run on a bow. It's something that's newer for me, but I've really been enjoying shooting it simply because of how well the bow balances during and after the shot. It just stays there dead in my hand and just kind of falls away. Really like that. The thing that the one problem that I didn't have a solution to is what to do with my arrows when running that setup, right? Because when I would use my tight spot quiver that I had, mounted it to the side, it just added a ton of weight to the back of the bow, made it very right heavy, made the entire bow very heavy in general. Shooting the back tension release, the silverback that I've been really focusing on for the past couple of months, my front shoulder would just start creeping after only a couple of shots. It was really difficult to put strings together and really practice with it. So I guess I could throw it in my backpack. It just felt kind of awkward. I like having everything on my bow. I already had an Option Archery Quivalizer. This is actually the stabilizer that I kind of run on every new bow until I figure out what kind of stabilizer and quiver setup I'm going to run. I get asked about this thing a lot. I like it on some bows. I would never run it on others. It just depends on the ergonomics of the bow. I like it on this PSC with this current setup, with this back bar mount. I've run it on Hoyts in the past. I like it a lot on those. Primes, I could see them being really good on primes, because primes are naturally very rear heavy on the back end. So having all this weight up front on a longer stabilizer would probably balance that out really well. I do not like running these on Matthews because it just makes the Matthews, which is already very top heavy and kind of wobbly, at full draw, just having all that weight out front and nothing in the back just makes that even more wobbly. I did not like running this on Matthews at all. Anytime I've done that, I think you'd have to kind of experiment with maybe a heavier back bar. But anyway, the reason I did this, I almost forgot disclosures. I have zero affiliation with anyone over at Option or the company at all. I bought the Quivalizer with my own money. That about covers that. And I've actually been liking it a lot. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, this is a carbon stabilizer rod, injection molded hood, quick detach. So Option Archery ships this with this little QD mount. Just the knob just kind of fits in there. They have a whole bunch of options on their website now. If you want to know more about my Quattro stabilizers that I'm running, like I said, check out those reviews. I'll have them linked above. But one of the advantages to this setup is I can actually just throw this in a standard quiver. It comes with this mounting bracket as well, so I could throw this in a standard quiver location when I'm traveling. The reason it's kind of upside down and looks a little funky is because the way I have it set up, my arrows are draped on the right side of the bow, as opposed to how a lot of other people will run the Quivalizers with the arrows draped over the left side of the bow. I didn't like that. It's kind of awkward. You have to load the bow kind of like this whole up and over sort of maneuver. The whole thing's just kind of awkward. So this was a nice little answer. It allows me to just load from this side, put it on there. I like it a lot. Keeps the weight down. It's still eliminating the weight of having a side quiver on there. And even better, let's say I'm in a situation where I don't need to, or I don't want to run my arrows on my bow directly, right? Like say a total archery challenge. I don't have to really mess with too much, because Option Archery sells this little mount right here that can go on the back of any stabilizer. So it turns their QD mount into a QD mount for any stabilizer. So boom, now I am back to my normal front and back bar mount. It adds maybe an inch and a half to the stabilizer, and now I'm back to running my standard front and back Vulcan setup. There's a 10-inch Quattro Vulcan up front and a 8-inch in the back. I'm running 2 of the fatter Quattro stacks on the back end, and this is just the standard weight stack that comes with all of the Quattro stabilizers on the front end. So do I expect, do I think everybody should run this setup, and do I expect people to start transitioning over to it? Hell no. This whole thing together between the Quivalizer itself, I think is $180. The additional like little QD mount thing was like $15. My entire Vulcan and Quattro setup alone was only like $150. So together you're talking about a $300 stabilizer setup. So definitely not cost effective. Is it cool? Does it solve a lot of the problems that I think some people face? Yeah, so I wanted to share it here. Is it a ridiculous setup? Yeah, maybe. It might be a little ridiculous. Do I love it? Yeah, I also love it. So, definitely not for everybody, but kind of cool, and just sort of highlight some of the cool features of both the option system and the fact that you can kind of integrate it into any stabilizer system that you're maybe thinking about running. So for those of you always asking about the Quivalizer and what I think, that is what I think. As far as some of the criticisms I've heard of the Quivalizer, one of the things you do have to keep in mind is with certain mechanical heads, this thing's not ideal just because this injection molded rubber interior of the hood, it doesn't hold on to certain broadheads that well. Like I'd be a little bit nervous running Rages in there with those pop collars that the spring loaded blades. Maybe with the no collar it wouldn't be as big of a deal. With my SEVRs, it holds them well enough. I don't have any issues. One of the things that I'll do with my SEVRs is the O-rings that come on them, I'll actually keep an extra one on my shaft near the back of my veins. That's just something I do out of habit anyway. I stole that from Isaac Alleman of Shed Loco and a couple other companies. He's an international man of mystery, Isaac, so if you know him, you know him. If you don't, you do now. But the other thing, the weird criticism that I've kind of heard is, oh, well, it's sticking out so far, you're going to get that caught on everything. Okay, well, it sticks out slightly further than a knocked arrow. So yeah, if you're hunting out of a blind, you're definitely not going to be running this on there. But like I just showed, I can just throw my other stabilizer on there. So, no problem there. But yeah, just kind of a crazy thing I've been messing with during quarantine. Like it a lot. Probably going to run it for this foreseeable future. Like I said, is it the most cost-effective option? No. Is it a cool option? For sure. And if you're somebody that likes messing with your gear, and maybe you're thinking about, for sure, the Quattro stabilizers are an awesome buy for your money. But let's say you're somebody that was maybe in the market for a new quiver, you could run it with what you got on your bow already. So maybe check it out. But thanks everybody. AJ from Knights of the Apex. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon to stay up to date on our newest videos, and I will catch you all next time.